Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Wednesday night, the Seton Hall Pirates travel to our nation's capital to battle the Georgetown Hoyas in a pivotal Big East contest. The action begins with a pregame show at 8:50, tip-off at 9, with Gary Cohn and Dave Popkin. Catch it on our sister station, AM 570 WMCA.
A skydiver is dead in California after a parachute malfunction.
We will have a rigger, someone who packs parachutes, come out and inspect the chute to see if there's anything that was wrong with the parachute itself.
San Joaquin County Sheriff's Lieutenant Steve Pease. All 4 members of the British band Viola Beach and their manager dead after a car crash in Stockholm.
They were a Warrington-based band, 4 young men, and they were really rising stars of the music scene. Things were, the indie scene, things were really coming together for them. In the last year or so, they had released their debut single, Swings and Water Slides. They were getting a great deal of airplay. They had featured on a BBC music show for undiscovered talent. They were getting a lot of airplay on Radio 1, obviously significant for a new band. They'd actually debuted in the north of England at the famous Cavern Club.
We're going to hang out. I'm going to take you up on that, and you're going to be sorry you said that. Folks, it's the Eric Metaxas Show. We'll be right back at some point, but that's the end of this show. Go to metaxastalk.com.
Of AM 970 The Answer on Broadway and Wall Street in Manhattan. This is WNYM, Hackensack, New Jersey, New York City.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Lacera. About 100 wildfires in 15 states, many of them burning in Washington state, where hot, dry conditions have made it dangerous for fire crews.
This is an unprecedented cataclysm in our state. There are 390,000.
Farner with some great news on how you could save an average of $3,000 per year on your mortgage. Call Quicken Loans now at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. The HARP guidelines have changed. There's less paperwork and often no appraisal required. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN. Or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Colorado Springs has a 1-year-old who runs around the house naked, which proves nudity is not sexual. I can't believe DJ is serious. Have a wonderful weekend, and a reminder, by the way, for those of you in Southern California, by the way, people come from around the country, so you might want to write me for information. I am conducting High Holy Day services again this year, 8th year in a row. Send me an email if you're curious, and please donate to Prager University.
Are you interested in more live and local news about the news happening right here in New York City? Do you wish there was a place you could get all points of view? Now there is. Listen to the Cats Roundtable every Sunday morning starting at 8:30 right here on AM 970. The Answer. The Cats Roundtable is hosted by John Katzimatidis, an American success story who came to this country when he was 6 months old and built a multi-billion-dollar business empire. You'll hear his interviews with the nation's top newsmakers, including the leading presidential candidates as we go into 2016. You'll also get to hear about what's happening right here in your backyard. Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean you don't deserve quality live and local talk. Democrats, Republicans, Independents. You won't just hear their take on the news. You'll hear them make the news. Sure, read about it in the newspaper on Monday, but hear it first on the Cats Roundtable, Sunday mornings at 8:30, right after Morano in the morning. Only on AM 970, The Answer. From the studios of AM 970, The Answer, on Broadway and Wall Street in Manhattan, this is WNYM, Hackensack, New Jersey, New York City.
Fox News Radio, I'm Paul Stevens. Wall Street getting hammered again today. The Dow down at this hour over 390 points after a big slide yesterday. Traders being cautious.
Traders are not going to step in here and buy what they're seeing. They're not saying this is a buying opportunity. On the contrary, they're watching to see where the lows actually will be.
Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides at the New York Stock Exchange. A slew of western wildfires continuing to grow. More areas warned about evacuations. More live now. Fox News Radio's Jessica Rosenthal.
President Obama has signed an emergency declaration for the state of Washington, which means FEMA and Homeland Security can now coordinate disaster relief efforts.
It is overwhelming. There is a lot of fire edge out there that is open, that is completely exposed to the wind.
That's Incident Commander Todd Pachota. It is supposed to die down a bit later tonight, but in the meantime, evacuations for several fires, specifically in Okanagan County, varies from hour to hour. Officials encouraging residents to stay indoors, off the roads, and paying attention to those evacuation orders, Paul.
Jessica, word just in from Washington. A U.S. military drone strike killed Haji Mutaz, the second-in-command in ISIS, back on August 18th. Indications also chemical weapons may have been used in the Middle East. More on that live from Washington. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern.
Preliminary test by U.S. forces indicates ISIS used mortars topped with mustard gas in an attack earlier this month on Kurdish forces in Iraq, though a U.S. commander stresses final testing could still take a few weeks.
Before we make a determination on exactly what it was, potentially how much it was, and maybe even where it came from.
Still, General Kevin Killian says there are other reports of ISIS using chemical agents, Paul.
Jared, 3 people reportedly injured, one critically after a gunman armed with an AK-47 opened fire on a train en route from Amsterdam to Paris today. Officials saying the injured are American, British, and French. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Are you at risk of identity theft? Yes. A new identity theft happens every 2 seconds. Does giving out your social security number increase risk? Yes. Putting personal information out there increases risk. If you forget your significant other's birthday, are you at risk of getting the silent treatment? Probably. No one likes having their birthday forgotten. But it won't increase the risk of identity theft. Unfortunately, things like shopping and breaches will. That's why LifeLock goes beyond free services that simply monitor credit, from detecting threats to helping resolve issues if your identity is ever compromised. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock has proprietary technology to detect threats and a dedicated resolution staff to help restore your good name. Is getting the silent treatment fun? No, but it's a walk in the park compared to having your identity stolen. Protection starts at $9.99 a month. For 10% off, go to lifelock.com and use promo code NEWS.
Capping our top story, Wall Street getting hammered again today. The Dow down at this hour over 375 points after a big slide yesterday. Crude oil prices dropping below $40 a barrel today for the first time since the global economic crisis. History made today for the U.S. military. The first female soldiers to complete the Army's rigorous Ranger School among the latest crop of graduates. First Lieutenant Shane Havra and Captain Kristen Greist pinning on their black and gold Ranger tabs at Fort Benning, Georgia. Haver and Greist are now Ranger qualified, but no women are currently eligible for the elite 75th Ranger Regiment. Hurricane Danny, the first hurricane of the 2015 Atlantic season, now a Category 3 storm.
Tropical cyclone watches may have to go up either tonight or tomorrow for at least some portion of the northeastern Caribbean. Our forecast has the center of Danny actually inland over Hispaniola in about 5 days.
Dennis Felchin of the National Hurricane Center. Hurricane Danny about 930 miles east of the Leeward Islands. Sustained winds of about 135 miles an hour. A new list illustrating the pay gap in Hollywood.
The financial disparity between men and women in Hollywood was in full view following the latest release of Forbes magazine's highest paid actress list. Writer Natalie Robomed.
There are 21 men in the world who earned over $20 million from acting, and there were just 4 women who made that number.
Jennifer Lawrence, Scarlett Johansson topped the list of highest paid actresses with 52 and 35 million respectively. These two were the only women who would have made the top 10 in the men's list. Melissa McCarthy's 23 million payday would have put her at number 20 on the actors list. Meryl Streep, Cameron Diaz, and Sandra Bullock combined are still not worth what Adam Sandler is at 41 million. Michelle Polino, Fox News Radio.
And I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News Radio.
Brought to you by MyCleanPC.com. If your computer is running slow, go to MyCleanPC.com and get a free computer diagnosis. In minutes, you can activate MyCleanPC software to clean out the junk that may be slowing down your computer. Increase your computer speed today with MyCleanPC.com. That's MyCleanPC.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
It's 85 degrees. Skies are mostly sunny. What's going on? We have the answer. You've got the southbound side of the New York State Thruway right now still shut down between interchange 15 and interchange 14B. They're diverting you off of the southbound New York State Thruway into Suffern at interchange 15 for Route 17. Standstill from Sloatsburg. The northbound New York State Thruway jam from the Tappan Zee.
385-9400 or franstouchaclass.com.
Well, come on, we're going to talk husband.
Another executive action could be in President Obama's future. The Associated Press is reporting the president is expected to take action to expand background checks on gun sales. The Vacation First family is due back in Washington on Sunday. Another executive action could be coming, this one surrounding the job market.
Can you live this man with your kids?
Of Americans unemployed, underemployed, or out of the workforce entirely.
Come on, get over
the
here.
Obama administration is poised to increase the number of foreign workers competing for jobs right here in the U.S. The president, who can't convince Congress to change the law to increase the visa numbers, intends to instead use executive action to get something done. The administration's proposal would allow more work permits for foreign-born, college-educated workers and would even let them stay in the U.S. longer. Critics say it shouldn't happen, especially given that so many Americans are still looking for work. Traveling with the president in Hawaii, Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Happy New Year from a Republican running for president.
Well, do you have...
How incredibly fortunate we are to be in a country where you still have control over what happens to you.
Ben Carson speaking to Fox News hours